Here we go.
Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're well. You amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. It's Friday. It's still Friday, and this is video 3 of 3. I may have had 2 days off, but I'm back. I'm back, and we're back with 3 in a row. 3 in a row. As we stick around the Jay Slater case. I know that will annoy some people, but tough. Because I don't know whether any of you know, but there was a furious debate. There was a debate over specifically parents allowing their kids a degree of, how can I say, independence, and that was surrounding allowing kids to go abroad. And Jay Slater's name was brought up as a look what happened to Jay Slater, and we're going to come back to that exact point in a second, because I think that's very important to consider what that means around this case. It'll make more sense soon. But this is what it was. So look at Jay Slater. Furious debate over parents allowing children to travel solo. Kids make mistakes. Now, let's put it into perspective. Jay Slater, it wasn't like Jay Slater was some 4-year-old or a 12-year-old. He was a teenager. He was a teenager, and many teenagers go on holiday with their friends. It's almost like a rite of passage. As soon as you get to 18 years old, it's all about doing as much as you can out of your parents' view. And I know some people started early. So it says, a furious debate broke out today between two mums. They discussed parenting, allowing their children to travel on their own, which TV personality Nicola McLean exclaiming, "Look what happened to Jay Slater." Now, I think the piss and annoying thing here is the Jay Slater case wasn't the be-all and end-all of kids who go abroad and things happen to them, because you could argue that Madeleine McCann went on holiday with her parents as a young toddler, if you like, and she goes missing. She goes missing, and what happens to her, who knows? You've got kids who go missing from their house apparently after they've gone to bed. Look at Sebastian Rogers, for instance, as the FBI finally drops a $50,000 reward. Like, that's going to make the difference. But anyway, that's by the by. Point being, bad things don't just happen to teenagers and kids when they go on holiday. We're getting into the realms of, again, this woke behavior where people think that stopping people doing things is the right way to go. Like in the UK at the moment, we've got this weird smoking debate where they're looking at banning smoking from outside. And I heard someone turn around and say, it's almost like, just because you can do something, it doesn't mean you necessarily have to do something. I know that starts this branch out of for smoking and against smoking. I get that, but when you're telling adults what they can and can't do, you go down a real grey area. Anyway, I digress. So it says, it comes as Kirsty Allsop, presenter of Location, has been questioned by social services after revealing she allowed her 15-year-old son to go interrailing across Europe. So just speaking on GBNews, McLean said that she would not allow her son to travel without a guardian. And let me just come back here, right? Because we've got a situation here where in essence, what she's done, she's allowed her 15-year-old child to go around on the trains and what have you all over Europe and go from place to place to place. And you think a parent should rarely know their child. And this is like what I said in the earlier video today. The only people who can kind of ascertain whether their child has the level of ability to keep themselves safe and those who they hang about with safe, because make no bones about it, that's part of it, isn't it? When a family, when parents make a decision to allow their child to do something, they generally factor in the likelihood of things going wrong, taken into consideration who they're with as well. You can have a son or a daughter who's amazing, but their group of friends are a bunch of fucktards, and you know that when they're out of your sight, things are going to go fucking sideways. And this is what I can't get my head around with the Jay Slater situation, because I think to myself, well, Jay Slater's family must have known who he was going with and kind of must have over the years got a good grasp of Jay Slater keeping himself safe. And it seems to me that while we was going through that process of where is Jay leading up to when he was found, his parents, especially his father, couldn't fathom why certain decisions had been made. And when we question that exact same mindset, and we don't even have the knowledge that Jay's father's got, we're not basing that on what we know about Jay on a personal level and understanding that he wouldn't have gone on an 11-hour walk, for instance, when the boy wouldn't have fucking walked half an hour to the hairdressers. These are the things that are going to make the family question things, but on the grander scheme of things, it makes us question things because of the sheer stupidity that it seems to be. And if you're going to deem someone that stupid that they make that level of poor choices, then had the parents got it so wrong that they shouldn't really have let Jay Slater go at all. But you've now got this person who is being questioned by social services, and her child is safe, but they question whether that was the right thing to do and looking to see whether action should be taken. But then on the flip side of the coin, you've got the McCann family who physically go on holiday, they take their children, they actively leave them in a situation where their children are alone and something happens. And yet there is no involvement by social services. There is no investigation from social services whatsoever. And in fact, the British taxpayer for over a decade has funded a continual search. While other people are going missing, there are other kids, young kids, teenagers, young adults in their 20s going missing, and nobody gives a flying monkey shit about it. You know, we've spoken about Jack O'Sullivan, and do you know what I mean? You can go missing and bad things can happen. But this heated debate over whether parents should be allowing their children to go overseas traveling on their own, surely there should be a degree of understanding your children and whether your child is independent enough or savvy enough to keep themselves safe. But then on the flip side of it, isn't that when social media becomes a real tool in your arsenal with respect of teaching people what there is to be careful about? You know, even the Jay Slater case, for instance. Okay, if you want to turn around and say, look what happened to Jay Slater, then you utilize the Jay Slater case in a different way, because you've got two things that happen there. You either the people who believe that Jay Slater made a series of fundamental errors in that he didn't charge his phone, he didn't liaise with his friends, and his friends didn't liaise with him to arrange between them a safe method to get him back to them. And then you've got other people who supposedly was with him in the hours leading up to his death, and they apparently did nothing either. They did nothing to assist him. These people who were with him, did they not think to make sure that he got back to his friends? And they will turn around and say, well, it's not our responsibility, but it certainly is if you've deemed that this guy can't make his own fucking way back. That's the issue that I have. Nobody wants to take responsibility for anybody. And the question hanging over the entire Jay Slater case is, was Jay Slater that stupid that he would have made the decisions that he did? And if that's the case, then was his parents wrong in allowing him to travel? And if they had made the decision to allow him to travel with his friends, then what information did they have, and what information had they learned over the years of being his parents that made them decide that it was a good idea to allow him to do that? Was it that he could have kept himself safe? And if they have concluded that, then what the fuck went wrong in the Jay Slater case? Surely anybody whatsoever of sound mind must have that question. Must have that question at the forefront of their mind. If Jay Slater's parents felt that he was safe enough, he had never shown them any dangers or worries whatsoever that he would be so foolish, then how was it that it was such a catastrophic mistake then to allow him to go? And what can and will hopefully be learned from it? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.